If you decided to build your first custom keyboard, but you're afraid of what to do, what to choose, and how to do it actually, then I think I have a solution for you right here. So this is Everglide Lite 75 kit, and with the switches separately, we're going to break it down today to give you more information about this and how to build your first custom keyboard. Let's go. In today's video, we're going to discuss Everglide kit, which comes with the base part of the keyboard, the PCB, the foam, and everything else. And separated, we have the switches as well. Now, the keycaps, you'll do need to find them on your own and to search them on the web to get the actual for the 75% keyboard. Now, what's it all about? So, first of all, this is something that I built which is quite interesting, of course, because things that you order from Everglide are already pre-lubed, you already have the foam inside the body and everything else, but we'll get to that part through the video. So let's start with the switches. We have Everglide Tourmaline Blue Cyan switches V3, which are actually quite interesting in a couple of facts. Now, these are linear switches. You can buy them on Everglide store in quantities of 70, 90 and 110. And basically the specifications are what you're most likely quite interested before we go further into details. So 45 grams is initial force needed, 50 grams is the actuation, and 55 is bottom out. The design is blue-green transparent housing with polycarbonate steam and housing, so this is standard MX steam. Factory lube and intact housing, which gives you basically an opportunity just to place the switches on the main board, and there's basically that. They're already pre-lubed, which is great. You don't have to tear them apart, you don't have to waste your time lubing each switch separately. And kinda is time consuming doing that. Now, they're self-lubed while typing for smooth feeling, so this means that while you type constantly, the lube constantly spreads around inside the switch and gives really nice smooth feeling, and I do have to admit that, but we'll get to that part later on when you hear the typing sounds and everything else. So this is a 5-pin switch, which means that they are convenient for PCB mount in terms of gives more stability than your standard 3 pins. We have a built-in LED slot, so this means that the LED from the PCB board shines through the switch and onto your keycap, so you don't have to worry about not having enough lights on your keyboard. Because of the transparent housing, backlight can shine through even with SMD LEDs. Stainless steel spring and 50 million keystroke, which is quite outstanding. Now, the actuation travel is 40 millimeters and the spring is 90 millimeters. Bounce time is less than 5 milliseconds. But when we take apart the switch and check it out, it is pre-lubed, but not in terms that you might have long-lasting 50 million strokes with lubed on it. So it would definitely need, if you're more experienced in this part, it would definitely need more lube, without a doubt, on the side parts and definitely on the spring, because I can't actually find any lube anymore. A bit there is a bit, of course, and it will self-lube as well as you type. So there's that. But in any situation, the pre-lubed part, if you're a beginner or if you just want something much better than the pre-factory built keyboard, then this is the way to go and to start basically. Since I have a couple of switches extra from the keyboard, I can actually tear it up apart and check out what's it inside and how does it look. But there's that. So yeah, that's when it comes to the switch. Now, when it comes to the keyboard and the plate here, the PCB, the housing, we have the Everglide Lite 75 kit, which means you get the plastic top and bottom, you get all the connections for the Type-C charging and Type-C connection. you get the PCB board, you get the foam for better sound dampening. But let's check out more details about the materials and how it's built. So case material is acrylic frost white. So there's a quite cool combination of stealth white keyboard, which actually has an LED all around, and because of the acrylic frost white design, you have an RGB going all around. You can actually adjust the LEDs on the front where you type, on the keycaps and switches, but the RGB around can't be adjusted because, I don't know, it doesn't have it in the software, so it's constant RGB going throughout the keyboard. Now, hot swap 75% do-it-yourself keyboard, which is retaining all necessary keys that you need for typing. So you have all the Fs, you have additional insert, delete, page up, page down, and arrows in standard form, and you have this volume knob, which is really practical and really nice touch, especially with the stainless steel design that looks quite cool. Yet it has some engraved parts on the side, so you have a smaller grip so the knob doesn't slide off your fingers, for instance, but that's just going into details. So translucent case with sound dampening foam, which means what? It's between the bottom cover and the PCB, so when you type you don't have those shallow sounds from the case body, and you don't have any extra echoing coming from the switches, of course, when typing and pressing them on the keyboard. Now you have three modes of connection on this keyboard. You have Bluetooth mode, it's Bluetooth 5.0. You have 2.5 gigahertz connection with USB receiver that you get it with the keyboard, and of course you get the USB Type-C cable, which you can also use the keyboard while it's wired, but it also charges the keyboard. Now when we're talking about the charging, this is the best part. The best part. This is a really cool part. 8,000 milliamp hours battery, which can really last up quite some time. It has a hot swappable PCB board that works with most 3-pin and 5-pin switches, such as Sherry, Gateron, Kylie, Akko, and O2MO switches. It has renowned stabilizers of Everglide, which you'll hear soon, and fine-tuned and pre-lubed to save time. Dampening foam is actually, as stated, to absorb the sound while typing and reduce shallow sound from the bottom of the case. And with all of that, you have a two-stage feed at the back to adjust the height. Now, what's it all about? So let's do a short time-lapse of me placing the switches on the keyboard and placing the keycaps. You'll notice some keycaps aren't exactly where they should be. That's because I had a set for a full-size keyboard, which means I don't have for Control Alt and FN function the smaller keycaps that should go there. And the insert and page up, page down are completely different in terms of the height. So that's my fault, because the order that I bought came a bit wrong, but there was no time to actually reorder or do something different. So yeah, be careful while ordering and where you order, so just in case. The keycaps aren't from Everglide, so there's that. Now, when we're talking about the keyboard, as you can see, it's currently running on 2.4 gigahertz USB receiver. And the thing is, it switches off. The lights switch off after some time of inactivity, which is really good because it saves the battery life and gives you more time of usage while not connected to your PC directly with the USB Type-C. Now, when we're talking about the typing and the actual commodity of typing, let's put it that way. So we have linear switches, which basically it goes to personal preferences and what you decide to choose from, but taking into consideration the pre-lubed switches, the pre-lubed stabilizers and everything else, and the dampening foam inside already placed, I think what I can say is basically comparing this keyboard to any pre-factory made keyboard for gaming or for typing or whatever, it's a completely different story. And for you guys that are even more experienced than I am, you'll definitely know that much better than I do, so there's that. But for some of you guys that are starting in this let's say tech niche, that you want to build your first custom keyboard, then eventually upgrade and go even further, I think you'll be quite satisfied with the movements and how smooth the movements actually are. It's something really completely different, and it's like you're typing on heaven, I would say. But some of you guys already know that. So you got to hear the clicks. As you can hear, there is no echo while typing. The stabilizers are incredible and there's no wobbling on any of the keys. I'm quite satisfied first with the sound. It's quite soothing and it's just remarkable comparing to some other keycaps, key switches and everything else that doesn't come pre-lubed. Then after that, the smooth movements and the keystrokes and how you type and flow through the keyboard is just outstanding. So yeah, there's that. Well, the keycaps are irrelevant in this situation. I placed the only ones that I could manage at such short time, but the switches are just, listen to this. Incredible. The Everglide Lite 75 kit is also outstanding because it comes pre-built, even though I stated something else for pre-built, but this is a different situation where the factory actually places a nice foam inside that dampens the sound. Stabilizers are pre-lubed. You just have to install their software, which they also have. So check this out. You can adjust the keys as you desire, so it doesn't have to be all the Fs. You can do something else with it. You can adjust the backlight, you can adjust the macros, you can do wonders with the software, which is quite outstanding because the keyboard is backed up with the actual software. And also for the first time of connecting the keyboard and using, you do need to plug it with your USB Type-C. After that, you do need to install the software and eventually upgrade your firmware. After that, it's all up to you to decide how the backlight will look, what the functions will be on individual keys, and that's that. So guys, without further discussion about this keyboard, about this kit and the switches, which are really remarkable, that's it. Check out the links below for Everglide store for the Lite 75 kit, body, foam, PCB and connection and everything else, and of course for the Tourmaline Cyan blue switches V3, which are linear, and you can check all the details there if I might have missed something. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully I will see you shortly in a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.